So what the data shows is that people are holding on to their cars longer. Why? Because of massive price hikes. And with that, when it comes time to sell their vehicle, there are a lot of dodgy people out there wanting to sell their vehicles. And what's happened is that the National Consumer Commission has been absolutely swamped with these dodgy people trying to sell via car dealerships, secondhand vehicles to unsuspecting customers. So they get an average, according to the National Consumer Commission, between 250 and 300 complaints per month on secondhand vehicles. Now, again, I'm not justifying that, but the secondhand vehicle market is currently booming because people simply cannot afford a new vehicle. Again, stats-wise, according to data released by Westbank, the average spend in 2024 on a new vehicle is 392,000 Rand, and that is the average. So if we have to use that average and try to find a vehicle out there, what can we get? Experts say that buyers should not spend more than 25% of their monthly income on a vehicle with related costs. Now, related costs consists of your petrol, your insurance, and things like that. So that total should not exceed 25%. So, for example, if you earn 20,000 Rand a month, your total expenses for your vehicle should be 5,000 all in. That's petrol, wear and tear, insurance, everything. 5,000 Rand, nothing more. Cool? Okay. So for this exercise, like I said, I've used the Westbank online payment calculator. Let me just double check this. So the assumption is that % deposit for car financing and should exclude any additional fees. The vehicle is financed over a 60-month period at 11.5% interest rate. No balloon option, no extras. So to get an estimate on what you theoretically should be earning, I use the cars.coza affordability calculator. So if we have to look at the cheapest car at the moment in South Africa, that's the Suzuki Espresso, and that goes for 178,900. So using a calculator, and this works out to the Westbank calculator, finance calculator, this works out to 4,030 Rand per month, just for the vehicle. You need to theoretically be earning between 20 and 22,500 Rand a month. Now remember, that's excluding your insurance, your petrol, and things like that. So bear that in mind. So if you want to go next model up, you would be looking at VW Polo Vivo. That's a really good seller in South Africa at the moment. Going price there is 266,600 Rand, and that comes out to roughly 5,960 Rand per month. Salary wise, you should be in the range of between 30 and 35K a month at a minimum to be able to afford that car. I'm thinking of a mini SUV. Let's take the Hyundai Venue 1.2 premium manual as an example. The list price for that is 309,000 Rand. This works out to roughly, well, not roughly, but this works out to 6,991 Rand per month. And you should be earning roughly 40K a month at a minimum to be able to afford that. Now, as you can see, I'm sure you've picked up a trend. It gets a lot more expensive, and you need to be earning a relatively decent amount of money in order to buy those type of vehicles. A tier above that, let's look at the VW T-Cross. It retails at 406,000 Rand, 4,700 total value. This works out to just over 9,000 Rand a month, and you should be earning anything between 55 and 60,000 Rand a month in order to afford this vehicle. You're thinking of something German like myself initially? Sit down for this. The Mercedes-Benz, the Mercedes C200 base model. List price 966,000 Rand. That works out to 21,000 Rand a month that you should be paying on that vehicle. And you should be earning roughly 90,000 60,000 Rand a month to afford a vehicle like that. Let's look at another German brand, luxury SUV. Let's look at the Q7. List price 1.9 million, repayment 43,000 Rand a month. And you should be earning close on 200,000 Rand a month for Q7. Paints a bleak picture, right? Now, I know a lot of you out there would be listening to this and would say, hey, Junaid, there are luxury German brands that can actually offer me a better deal than what you've mentioned, using that Q7 as an example. And yes, they can, but it comes at a risk. That risk is called a balloon payment. Now, I've been advised not a good thing to go by. The long and short of it is that it keeps you in debt for a longer period of time. So be wary of that. Now, due to the increase pricing, like I said, many people hold on to their cars longer. Owners of German brands wanting to purchase are also downgrading. That's another trend that I've seen. And again, it's not from what I've seen. It's from what people that I've spoken to in the motor industry, salespeople specifically. And the data shows this. For example, in Q3 in Europe, Q3, Audi profits were down 91%, BMW 80%, VW was at 60%, and Mercedes was at 54%. And Porsche, which is generally the darling child of the motor industry, their sales were down 41%. Now, that is absolutely alarming. What we've seen in South Africa in terms of the downward trend, nothing new to the rest of the world. They're also experiencing that. But those numbers are mind-boggling. And what's the worst part is that this trend seems to be accelerating, which is unheard of. I mean, data released by NAMSA shows a decline in South Africa for German brands. For example, for the month of October, BMW was at 13th. Was rated at number 13th overall in the country. And they've only sold 1,007 units. I say only because in the years that passed, they should sell in the thousands, much more than that. Mercedes was at 15th with 474 units sold, and Porsche in 22nd with only 104 units being sold. Audi wasn't even on that list. So, and I've seen a lot of Audi dealerships closing down. So yeah, it's quite evident that this trend is following on in South Africa. So again, having chatted to car sales professionals from BMW, Mercedes, Audi, and even Porsche here in South Africa, they've mentioned their concerns of extremely low volumes being sold. And it was clearly evident when I was at Mercedes showroom over the weekend. There were more salespeople there than people coming on the sales room floor. And I mean, that was at month end. You would expect it to be busy. Definitely not. New car market. So what brands are buyers looking for? Well, enter the Chinese. So using data that NAMSA that I've seen, it shows a very, very clear trend. For the month of October, Chinese brands have actually knocked the brands that we are aware of, knocked them out of the top 10. To give you an example, let's have a look here. Chery and GWM were 7th and 8th with 1,831 and 1,796 units respectively. Now that's a lot of units for a relatively new brands into the country. Amoda was at 14th with 605 units. I mean, to give an example, Amoda outsold Mercedes-Benz, who were 15th. Mercedes-Benz sold, 474? Amoda sold more units than Mercedes-Benz. Simply put, these luxury brands are way overpriced. And people are looking at alternatives. That's why they're looking at Chinese brands. Chinese brands are simply a lot more affordable. They offer much better comfort levels. And Some people have told me or have commented, hey, Junaid, I've heard that these brands are not well put together. Well, no, they are actually very well put together. And they really have remarkable, in some cases, groundbreaking warranty plans in place. Let's look at two examples. We'll take the Chery Tiggo 4 Pro 1.5 liter turbo LIT, long name I know, but that's the name of it, compared to a VW T-Cross. Now, both of these vehicles are very similar in terms of what they offer. The Chery is, like I said, it's a 1.5 liter turbo coming in at 314,900. The T-Cross is a 1 liter coming in at 462,000. So immediately, straight off the bat, a VW is 147,000 Rand more expensive. But doesn't make VW a better vehicle because it's more expensive. Let's have a look. So on paper, the Chery has a 1.5 liter turbo engine versus a 1 liter from VW. The Chery has 85 kilowatts and 200 newton meters of torque. The VW has 108 kilowatts versus 210 meters of torque. Chery has or does 7.8 liters per 100, whereas the VW does 6.5 liters per 100. The Chery, on the other hand, has a 5-year, 150K warranty, a 10-year or a 1,000,000-kilometer engine warranty, and a 5-year or 60K service plan. I mean, just on that engine warranty alone, that is a wow factor. That truly is. But it must be noted that that engine warranty only applies for the original owner. So if you sell that vehicle, second owner gets it, sorry for you, you're not going to get that warranty, that 1,000,000 warranty. So again, on paper, the Chery seems to be a better buy. Chinese brands are making a massive inroads, and they've seen a gap in the South African market and they've taken it. And it doesn't necessarily mean they're skimping on quality. The quality that these guys have stands up to the likes of the Germans. Traditional car brands are just so expensive. The likes of your Mercedes, your BMWs, Audis. Guys, they're fantastic cars. I'm not taking a dig at those cars. They are really brilliant cars, but the prices are just not there. Unless, of course, you win the Powerball, then hey, that's a different story altogether. But the Chinese brands come in a lot more affordable. They're very attractive to the South African market. From what I've seen, what I've read, people that own these vehicles, Havals, GWMs, the Jacko, not the names if you want to, but guys, these vehicles are really good. So anyone wanting to purchase, like I said, we'll find out whether or not you can afford it. Definitely Chinese brands tick the box in terms of affordable, good quality vehicles in the market. You should be looking at those vehicles. Have a look. The other option, of course, is or are EVs or hybrids or EVs. Again, that's a different discussion altogether, which I'll cover in a different episode. But sure, anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Give it a like and subscribe for more news coming your way. Thanks.